It's very hard to not slouch in this set here,
It's
though,
a
isn't it?
slide down it.
To be honest,
Yeah,
this tracksuit's so slippy. I'm like going down.
Hello and welcome to This is an Ambitious Podcast. This is a podcast about ambition, interviewing the most ambitious people from the advertising and marketing sector. Ambitious also, because it's co-hosted by Bez here. How you doing, Bez?
How do everybody? How are you?
So yeah, very exciting. We've done a few, just done a live episode, which was daunting, but yeah, thank you to everyone who's liked and subscribed.
And apparently I fell hard on that, you was telling me.
Yeah, Bez dropped a C-bomb, which was
There
probably
you
the
go.
highlight of the podcast so far. Today, we're talking to Laura Brady, who is head of marketing at Deliveroo, also a mentor of something that sounds really interesting called Femme Palette and various other things. She was previously in ad agencies such as BBH and Pablo, and very interesting Prague-based startup called Creative Doc, which we'll talk about in a bit. What's your preference on Deliveroo, Beth?
If you can get Deliveroo to
Yeah.
where I live, you will be, honestly, my friend forever.
If you give me your postcode, there's a list for that, so I can put you on the list.
Oh, can you? Well,
Yeah.
get us on the list.
I'll
That'd
get you
be
on the
amazing.
list.
I'd be so impressed with Deliveroo if you could sort me out
God,
and get
now
me
it's a
on that
pressure.
Deliveroo
Okay.
list.
I will.
Right.
There you go.
There we
Heard it
go.
first.
HRC. Our look has changed.
Oh God.
So, hello, Laura.
Hello.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Has it been a lifelong ambition to be on a podcast with Bez, or just since we asked you?
Honestly, it has been a lifelong ambition to go on Gogglebox.
Oh,
So I'm actually hoping we can use this as a bit of
Oh,
like
yeah,
an
yeah.
audition.
Bit of SETI banter.
Yeah, but so I mean, ideally, I'd be sat there because it'd be a bit like a screen test.
Yeah.
But
do you
if
want
I
to swap seats?
Well-
we're all set up.
Okay.
Well, you
But-
put it out in the universe now.
No,
so-
well, I'll get you on Deliveroo. You get me in Gogglebox. That's how it works.
There you go. So you've worked with some stellar agencies and sort of viewers of this podcast. It's a sort of age-old, pretty cliche question, but what drove you to go client side? They call it the dark side. I'm not convinced. You know, everyone thinks they're the goodies.
Yeah,
I'm not convinced.
I can see it from both sides.
Yeah.
Matt. I loved working in agency. I was like so lucky. I got to work with really great clients like Tesco and
Yeah.
Virgin Media. I was
Yeah.
working on huge campaigns. It was generally like a masterclass
Yeah.
in brand building. And I don't think anything particularly like drove me away as such. I've always wanted to make sure I was taking opportunities to challenge myself.
Yeah.
So I think the first that came up was moving from that big brand world to going to a very, very small fintech startup and then on to Deliveroo.
So this is Creative Doc.
Yeah, that's Creative Doc. Yeah, so there was a startup company. And when I moved to Deliveroo, my first role was head of global brand. So that brought those two worlds really nicely together. Deliveroo's been around for over a decade, actually, which is mad.
Yeah.
But still got very much a startup mentality and like lots of like drive and ambition.
Yeah.
And then my latest role now is within the UK and Ireland team. So still loads of creativity, but coupled with commercial leadership. So
Yeah.
now I get to see where the work is working and how it drives the business results. So like all the way through the career path, I've kept that like layer of creativity, but always trying to stretch in like slightly different ways. And that's what has
Yeah.
driven those.
So there's been no grand plan as such. It's just like things that
That-
present.
I feel like I should pretend that there was,
Yeah.
but no, there wasn't. And I've been lucky to have the
It's
opportunity
just
to come
so
to me.
Bez says yes to everything.
Best says yes. No, I also say yes to everything.
And it's been in the game and getting
Yeah.
yourself, if you're not in the game, you ain't playing. And that's what
Exactly.
I always say. But you got to excuse my ignorance. What's the startup thing?
It's like an incubator. So it was based in Prague, but essentially it was a company that builds different startups. So they would work with investors who might come to them and go, we've got like a transformation budget. We want to do something, but perhaps we don't have like the expertise in house. The idea is like build teams that would work very quickly, get startups off the ground, take them to a certain point, and then the idea would be that the investor would either bring them in house or we would continue them.
Just going back onto Deliveroo.
Yeah.
So what are the ambitions of Deliveroo as a brand, and then for you sort of personally, what are you hoping, like broadly speaking, to get out of it? You don't know, yeah.
It sounds so simple,
Yeah.
but I want to make every moment just that little bit better for more people.
Yeah.
So I'm sure like all three of us have been in those situations where you're at a party and it's going a little bit too well and the alcohol's running out or the ice, or working late on a pitch and there's that person that comes in and they're hero because they've brought like pizzas in, and it really transforms the whole energy. And it's those moments that I want to make sure that Deliveroo is like the first like app you would turn to try and make them a little bit better.
Yeah. So, Bez, what's your perception of Deliveroo? What do you sort of think about it? And do you think there's anything in the idea? We spoke about it before. If you and Shaun doing like a tour, but Deliveroo based, where someone orders.
Yeah, if me and Shaun was involved, one thing I can guarantee is inconsistency of your delivery would be late almost on a
You could get
daily
on the
basis.
back though. Like we could like configure it so
Well,
like
give him a donkey
it's...
back.
Yeah,
Carry
like,
him
we
there,
could get you there.
Knock on the door, Shaun grabs it over, and I trot off with him on my back.
I'm like gaining momentum in this now, because like think about what I just said. Imagine if you were having like a bad Monday, and you're looking for a little bit of joy.
Yeah.
Bear with me. You go onto the Deliveroo app and you get Happy Monday delivered.
You are the embodiment of joy.
That is something great.
What I do like about it though is you can get your dinner from one place and your pudding from another.
You can.
And there's a few of you're ordering, you can have a really like nice.
This sounds like I've given you some speaking
Yeah,
points.
yeah,
Please talk about the cross-restaurant offering. Yeah, great.
Yeah. Because sometimes when you go, we're going to the chippy, for instance.
Yeah.
Not everybody wants a chippy,
No,
do they? You
they
know what I
don't.
mean? Especially if you're watching your diet. And
Exactly.
Yeah. So the Deliveroo is honestly, it's such a genius
I feel like if
idea.
we can sort this,
it is.
dreams are going to come
Yeah.
true. So in sort of in sort of creative endeavor, so doing ads, Bez as well, making music, is it a case of sort of is your approach to creative work doing maybe what's expected, what's currently in the zeitgeist, or is it important to do new stuff and invent new things?
I feel like I always would start from like what the customer wants.
Yeah.
So I remember when I was at BBH and the CEO of Tesco at the time actually like sat us all down, was like, here's a task for you all. Go out. You've got the average weekly budget of a family in the UK, meal plan for them. And I remember thinking like, this is going to be relatively straightforward. It's going to take me like 15 minutes. And I like seriously underestimated how difficult it was, but like gave me a total sense of like, what's the why behind like the purchase choices that customers are making week on week. And then once we understood that, then I think like as long as it's based in insight, you can build a creative idea on top of it.
Yeah.
I think it's probably really difficult nowadays to be totally unique, but if you've got that insight in the like the core of it, I think people will come to you.
Yeah. What about you, Bez? Well, in terms of how
Well,
involved are you in the sort of
I
new
just
music?
want to know, say if I've just set up my own restaurant or takeaway, say, how would I get you involved in it if I want to deliver the partnership with Deliveroo and start delivering my how would
so
you
we
go?
have like sales teams that are based in different cities and regions, so we'd come round, hopefully you would offer us something like a cup of tea or water, we'd have a sit down, we'd talk about like what's your restaurant, like what you're trying to achieve, and hopefully do a deal. We'd take some photos of your food.
What
we'd
is
get
your
you up on the app.
hypothetical restaurant, Bez?
Yeah.
Bez's Burgers.
What's that? Yeah.
Bez's Burgers.
Well, I was thinking more of the elite, you know what I mean? Hugh Burgers.
Oh, nice. Laura, what's it's not obviously we were talking about ambition, but it's not all about success.
Yeah.
Could you give us an example of somewhere where you've been ambitious and it's failed, or what's the most ambitious thing you've done that's failed, perhaps?
Well, probably going back to that startup time, we were launching an all-in-one accounting app for freelancers. And it wasn't like the product failed at all. Actually, like the consumer need was there. The insights were really solid. But we had committed to a certain set of targets with our investors. We had to deliver them within a certain time frame. So naturally, we were like building the proposition, building the product, building the brand, building the launch plan all at the same time. Like it was literally the epitome of not just like building the plane whilst flying it. It was like writing the instruction manual, and we were all taking turns. And so eventually we launched with an MVP, but in order to like hit that timeline and get it live, we did have to make some trade-offs on features. And inevitably that started flowing through into the numbers, and we were missing our acquisition targets to begin with. And coming from an agency, that is so uncomfortable because that campaign launch moment is so pivotal. Like it's like the moment of success, and you feel like you've got that one shot for it to land and demonstrate all the hard work. So yeah, it was a pretty uncomfortable period, and like trying to reframe that from seeing that as like a personal failure when you're seeing all this like red glaring back at you, to almost like, all right, let's see this as a bit more of like a live experiment that we can iterate on. It wasn't easy to do that. It took a huge amount of resilience to be like, okay, let's just like see past this. What's the data telling us? What are we going to test? What are we going to try? What's worked? What's the next lever that we can pull? And trying to corral the team around that.
Yeah. Is that a valuable lesson you've taken on then? So that sort of like the whole resilience thing of things not going well, don't hit there, to continue your analogy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like great one. I feel like at some point there's going to be a point where like if you've obviously tested a lot and then there's something probably and it's not improving, there's probably something fundamentally wrong with like maybe the proposition or the product you've built. But in our case, like we definitely saw that the more we tested and tweaked, like those results did start flowing through, especially as the product developed. But yeah, I would probably say it was more of a test and learn than a failure, because it was like a huge learning curve.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what life is, isn't it? If you don't make a mistake in life, you never know when you're getting it right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You've been in other bands other than Mondays.
Yeah, but all related around being an happy Monday. Though, nothing. I've never expanded further than that.
You
yeah.
maracas.
But sounded like you got a little overexcited. The lot, because that's what I do, you know what I mean? I get really excited and mess things up, you know what I mean? Because I got too excited and not like seeing it through properly, you know.
Well, I think that passion is good, right? You need that passion, because that passion will see you through when like it is really tough. Like I was actually speaking to a girl on my team yesterday, and she was like, "You are literally passionate about everything. You can find passion in like a doorknob, and if you don't have that passion, nothing will happen." And I think that definitely takes you through some of those more challenging times. But yeah, I think it's probably a balance between how you learn as you're failing, but like keep your passion for what that's why you're involved, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then what about successes? What's an ambitious thing you've done that's been an absolute rock-on win?
So we have this annual Deliveroo Restaurant Awards, and this was like a total like team effort. We've done it for like the past like 4 or 5 years. And last year we launched the Kebab Award.
The
Kebab Award. That's exactly what it says on the tin. So we were like quite far down the road with like the awards and like the plan. And then we're in this room, and one of the team just had this idea. And at the time, Luke Little had just won his first World Darts Championship, and like he was a rising star, and he was gathering like loads of mainstream fame.
And it looks like he might like kebabs.
Well, he's known as the king of kebabs.
Oh, is it?
He is actually known. And it was one of those moments where you're like, this never aligns. Like, it's really relevant for our brand. It's really relevant in culture. It's really last minute, but it feels like we can't like pass up this opportunity. So we did galvanize the team really quickly, built the idea out, somehow managed to convince Luke, not exactly sure how, and within like a couple of weeks we were all crammed into this kebab shop in Altrincham. It was really ridiculous. So just to paint the picture, Luke, this world champion, comes into this kebab shop surrounded by like cameras, and all of us like, Luke, like I was like desperate to take a selfie with him, but I was trying to remain professional. And he's throwing his like personalized championship performing darts at this huge dartboard that had a plethora of kebabs on it, everything from a sheesh to a doner. And I was looking and thinking, he's like, this is so unserious, like what a good sport from him. Yeah, it was like way better than anything I'd envisaged, but more so for the team, that's exactly the culture that I want to model for them, which is like, if you have a really ambitious idea and you can back it with like insight or data, we will make it happen. And so that was like the biggest like success for me.
Can I ask another silly question, Max?
Nothing's no silly questions.
Yeah, where do you get all your insights and your data from when you're looking at these things? You know what I mean? When you're saying you're looking at your insight and data,
Yeah.
where you're getting this information from?
Oh, loads of different sources, honestly. So we've got like our internal data, and then for like customer data, we'll do everything from like using like brand tracking, or we'll sit down with customers and do like groups. And actually going back before about that task, that's something that we do all the time now at Deliveroo, where it's like there's obviously the numbers and that will tell you a lot, but sometimes you have to get out from behind the desk. So what you were saying before about like Chippy, and that's the locally loved one, like me and my team will regularly go out to a city and like go on the streets. We actually speak to some of the restaurants, because like what you wouldn't see from that data is like the story of Bez's Burgers and why you started that and why everyone loves it, or even when a Wingstop opens, like the queues that are going around the corner, and you just don't get a sense of that.
I once made a watermelon sauce for a takeaway. Yeah.
For a takeaway.
Yeah. I think they might have been on Deliveroo as well. I think it was the watermelon sauce what actually did.
Lovely.
They sold the deal.
Never heard of a watermelon sauce.
Yeah, you're twisting me melons on.
There you go.
Nice.
Do you think so? When you work in agencies, and as an agency, you can get a bit frustrated with your client, going, "Why can't they just, do this thing that's clearly amazing?" Certainly from our point of view, might not be from your point of view. What's it like the other side? Do you have the similar frustration the other way, or do you feel the frustration of the agency? Is it a case of that something is absolutely incredible? It might be certain sort of political climate within the business and so forth.
Well, I've got the unique perspective that I've played both sides, light and dark, and I won't say which one was which. And I hope that's actually made me a better client, because I have like an understanding of what happens in agency, what those processes are, and now being client side, I understand like how we need to frame and sell ideas. And like working with our agency, that's like probably one of the biggest things that I've hopefully helped them do in the past, which is like, I'm really excited about this, but you need to help me shape this in a way that draws down on what's really important. It's going to help me sell that further up. And I remember, like, obviously when I worked agency side, I don't know if all of the time we got that sort of context to be able to go, like, just see the bigger picture, especially being in account management, which I was. Stakeholders is like, that needs to be your black belt skill. You need to like understand what motivates those clients. You basically need to pitch yourself as like, I see you, I know you want to get from A to B, I'm the vehicle to help you get there. And I think that's probably a big unlock for agencies of going, if your client believes in the idea, you just need to help them shape it in a way that would be sellable all the way up to the top. And I think if you can do that, you can quickly navigate a little bit quicker through the crystal maze, let's say, of process to get it signed off. And that's my experience anyway at Deliveroo. So I feel like we've got a really good partnership with our agency, that we've managed to achieve that through having that, not necessarily client agency relationship, but more like we are a partnership in this together.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I'm never really sure whether it's ideal to have someone ex-agency within a client, or
I can imagine.
Do you know what I mean? It's kind
I
of,
can imagine there's been
if it
times
just make you
when
more
like,
honest,
so
I think it
annoying.
makes you like, you're very aware of, there's not that we bullshit people, but there's no bullshitting people.
I think that is the thing.
There's no room for indecision. That's what I think.
Never,
You got to be buff and like be right on it. I've got a question though for you, Laura.
Oh, Bezos, really?
Yeah, and it's a bit of a, I hope you're ready for this question.
I'm not sure I am.
I'm not sure I'm ready to give it to you. You work in a business where brand recall is critical. Marketing metric that measures the ability of consumers to spontaneously remember your business, which is Deliveroo.
Yeah.
When prompted with a product category, need or situation, it is a key indicator of brand strength. I'm not sure if I read that quite right. I might have missed a few commas and stops out there, but
you wrote it.
It's coming together, demonstrating how deeply a brand is embedded in the consumer's mind. Top of mind awareness without external cues. So with that in mind, how can the Happy Mondays be a top of the mind when people think of music? That is a
It's a mouthful.
Yeah, it's a question, and I could have put it a lot simpler, but if it was down to me.
I mean, but I think it's becoming more and more apparent that you're as passionate about Deliveroo as I am. And it's just very obvious that we need to get this doorstep tour off and up and running. And I don't think there'd be anything more memorable and keep you more top of mind.
Make Deliveroo more of a Happy Monday?
Yeah.
Every day's a happy Monday with Deliveroo. Food and music are two of the key things that make people's lives better.
Honestly.
And if you get on the back of a Deliveroo bike and you've got your maracas and we'll deliver a watermelon, like there's no forgetting that.
Food. How happy does that make you?
Happy.
Music.
Yeah.
It makes you a Happy Monday.
There you go.
There you go. So there's no argument there. Well answered.
Before we go, Laura, have you got any questions for Bez?
Yeah, a very crucial one.
Go on.
Did I pass this Gogglebox interview?
Well, you know what? We'll have a look over the reels. Well, you did
And
well
then
on the
decide.
casting couch,
Oh,
as I
right,
say.
thank you.
She's on the LA casting couch,
Nice.
the famous casting couch. Run by me well, ladies.
Yeah.
Exactly. If Shaun gets tired from touring, then maybe you can.
I was thinking, like, Shaun's from Salford, I'm from Salford. If he's busy one day, I could sub in. I don't think anyone
Well, you know
would
what?
notice
I
the
think.
difference.
But one thing I do agree with, us people from Salford should stick together.
Exactly.
Yeah, and help each other rise up that ladder.
Exactly.
Yeah, up that corporate ladder. We go.
Here we go. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. Thank you, Laura.
Nice one, Laura.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Simon, who's over there.